Hey everyone, welcome back to my vlog. I'm Robin, or a Hobbit's reading list. I've had people call me just Hobbit before. This week, we don't have a ton going on. We're getting back into the groove of post-holiday, post-New Year drudgery of going to work and, trying to do all the things I enjoy around that. So this week, we're going to have me trying to figure out how to balance writing, reading, YouTube, and starting a podcast, as well as going to temple on Friday for Shabbat and then going to a sushi lunch with a friend of mine on the weekend. So it's going to be busy but mundane, which is not a bad thing. So let's go ahead and jump in. Hello, lovely people. I'm very tired. It's about 10:45 at night. I just got home from work and I'm very tired. And I have to start making dinner soon. So this is a very quick update. I read a little bit of Self-Made Boys this morning. I read like 25 pages. It wasn't that much. But so far it's way more tolerable in the physical form. So glad I decided to switch over. And I'll probably read more of it tomorrow. I didn't listen to the Mirror Empire on my way home, but I did listen to it going to work. So I listened to like about another hour and a half. So I'm at, what was it, like 78% now. Some stuff happened. More death, which, like, legit death, like for sure people died. Not a main character, which, that's not saying much considering I think as of right now, I'm up to like a dozen different perspectives, so I don't even know what main character means anymore. But they were characters that we had gotten to know, so it was a little sad that they died. But again, I understand why they died. It didn't feel like pointless. So it to me that makes it okay. As long as I can understand why a character is dying, that is fine. If I at the end of it am one super upset and being like, but why? What purpose did it serve? Then I kind of get like really upset. So that's about it. Like I said, I start making dinner soon. But tomorrow I have a lot of meetings, but also have to edit the vlog that's supposed to go up. And I just started today, so that's going to take me a little bit. But I will hopefully be able to, at the very least, listen to more of the Mirror Empire while I like clean and stuff. So I will get some reading done. I just don't know how much. I would like to get a lot, but we'll see. So, good night. Hey everyone, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Mirror Empire. I listened to another, I want to say like hour-ish. I listened to it while I cleaned the bathroom, so I have, I think, another like hour and 20 minutes left, which is perfect because if I don't end up listening to more tonight, then I will finish it on my drive to work tomorrow. So it's still a thing where, like, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue the series because I think we are heading towards a resolution, but I'm so ambivalent about it. Like, I don't know. I know who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for everyone in, like, the pacifist universe. That's very clearly what we're being told to root for, and that's fine. I like a lot of the characters. I'm not a huge fan of Akio anymore. Like, I feel he is the spiritual leader of Dai, and he should not be. Like, he's just not savvy enough for politics. So there's that. And I don't know. again, I think it just depends on how the book ends, and if it resolves enough to keep me interested, I might add it to my wish list, and then if I just like get it in the future, then I'll probably continue the series. But yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. It's it's not bad. I will say that. Like, I haven't put it into Cop Pile yet because I haven't finished it. I'm assuming it'll be like a solid like 3.5 star from me, and I can't put my finger on why. There's just something about it, like, I just don't know. I don't know. So that's it. But I've been running around. I've had a lot of meetings today. For some reason, I have a lot of meetings on Tuesdays. I had like therapy and personal training, and then I met with my rabbi for a little bit, and I had a call with a friend. And in between all that, I was editing and cleaning, and yeah, I just feel like I've done a lot today, and it's like 5:30. So I have like another like 4 hours to do things. So I should actually be able to finish my to-do list, which is really nice. But well, if I end up reading more, it'll be Self-Made Boys, because I would like to make more progress on that, especially because I know at the very latest I will finish The Mirror Empire tomorrow. And I've realized that I need to stop guessing when I'm going to finish things, because I'm wrong a lot of the time. But I know for a certain now I will finish Mirror Empire tomorrow. So that's the plan. I need to film more, give you more things to look at that isn't just like my face. But Tuesdays are just like not the day for that. I'm just running around doing stuff. But that's enough of me rambling. So I'm gonna go do more stuff. So I read more. I took a bath and I read Self-Made Boys, and it's I was gonna say it's not bad. I mean it's good. I think I find myself distracted by trying to parse out what I remember of The Great Gatsby, and how beyond the obvious how much different is in this story. So that's a little distracting, but I mean, I'm flying through it. I read 134 pages in like a little over an hour. So I mean, I like it. It's I don't think I'll keep it. I can't really see myself rereading it. If anything, this makes me want to reread The Great Gatsby, because I haven't read The Great Gatsby in like 15 years at least. I know I read it for school. But yeah, I mean it's good. It's way better than the audiobook. The narrator for the audiobook was not helping this. Um but the actual book itself is good. I'm at 60% now, so I mean, I should fly through it pretty quickly next time I pick it up. But yeah, um I got to a part where Nick has sort of realized that he's in love with Jay, and I cannot tell what Jay is thinking. Because at times he's like flirting with Nick, at times he's treating Nick like he's his best platonic friend. I will say that I do enjoy how overall queer this story is. Like, there's a lot of side characters who are just themselves, you know, and there's lesbians, and there's other trans men, and there's uh there was a gay speakeasy, and I really enjoyed that part. I enjoy the casual queerness, especially in historical fiction, or you know even with the Mirror Empire, with fantasy. It's not something you see a lot of, and obviously it's become more popular, which I love. But like when I was a teenager, reading The Great Gatsby. Like, yes, I wanted Nick and Jay to be together. But it was always, that just wasn't something that I read a lot of as I was growing up. So I am glad that, like, a book like Self-Made Boys is written, and it's so delightfully queer and doesn't apologize for it, but also takes into account the real aspects of being queer in a world where a lot of people suck and they hate you just for that. And it also does, I think, a really good job talking about race during that time. And so I can appreciate a lot of the messages in this book. Anyway, I like the book fine. I probably a 3-star, 3.5, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and eat dinner. It's 10 o'clock. I eat dinner late. I don't know if that's been picked up on yet, but I ate dinner really late. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will check back in with you guys tomorrow. So I wanted to film this real quick. I just finished The Mirror Empire, and I ended up giving it like a 3.5, just because I felt like there were some like plot holes, and there were just so many characters. Like, I'm used to, like, you know, high fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, where you have a lot of characters to work with, you have a lot of information about the world. But there was something in The Mirror Empire where I just felt like there were too many characters for too short of time, and like I looked it up, and it says that there are 4 main characters, and I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, except like one of the main characters we didn't hear about in the last 20% of the book. And it was just, and instead of that main character, we were following other characters that we'd been introduced to as like side characters. So it was just like, if you're gonna have 4 main characters, that's fine, but like stick to those 4. Don't go to another side character just so you can show more information about the world. Like, I don't know, it was just something in the writing style that, in the multi POV, that bothered me. And like, I'm still interested. I added the sequel to my Amazon wish list, so I will probably read it at some point in the future, but I don't think I'm gonna hold on to the book, just because it wasn't, I'm fairly ambivalent about it. Yeah, so it was just like, okay, well, I finished that. Yeah, I'm at work, and so I will probably give more of a like review tomorrow. But like, if you like reading about a lot of different characters and like a lot of world building, like, check this book out, because the plot is really interesting. But to me, it was just like, it felt like so much, and some of it was really unnecessary. Like, this was a 17-hour audiobook, and I remember the size of the book from when I have it at home, and like, it's sizable. So just, those are some thoughts for having like immediately finished it, but I will probably give more thoughts later. Okay, so I wanted to try to sum up The Mirror Empire. So I'm going to try to do this as succinctly as possible, because I did try to do it last week, and it was like a 10-minute video, and when I went to edit it in last week's vlog, I just ended up cutting the whole thing because I didn't like how it went. And after looking at summaries online, it is confirmed, as I said yesterday, that The Mirror Empire follows 4 main characters. Lilia, who is a dye scullery maid at the temple. Ro, who is a novice and a paragista, which means that he can call on the talents of Para, the star of the telekinetic stuff, like I mentioned. They are friends at the temple. And then there's also Zezali, who is a Legion military leader in Dorina, and the other one is Akio, who is the new Kai, which is the spiritual leader after his sister, the previous Kai, died mysteriously. And throughout the story, most of them are separate. I think the only one who doesn't, they all meet, not each other, but they all meet other people of the main four. So like Lilia and Ro are friends at the beginning, but they get separated. Ro meets Akio. I don't think Akio meets Lilia, not really. And then Zezli meets Lilia at some point. But I think that's it. Pretty much they're all, like, they meet each other somewhat, and they're all on their own journeys and discovering that Oma, the Star of Destruction, which, like, is not what it's really called, but, like, Oma Rising signifies, like, the different worlds in this universe get closer and closer and closer and closer when Oma is rising. And so it lends itself to invasion, pretty much, by one of the other worlds. So throughout the story, they're all discovering that this is happening, and they're all on their own journey to save their own world, pretty much. And it's, like I said yesterday, it's really good. I think I figured out why I'm hesitant to continue the series, despite giving it a 3.5 star. Like, a 3.5 star is not usually what I would say, like, oh yeah, I need to definitely read the next one. Like, it's fine. It's fine. But I figured out on my drive home last night, I figured out that the reason I'm hesitant is because all last week I was talking about, like, needing resolution in the first book, and I was comparing it to Lord of the Rings, which, like, these are completely different. If you're looking for Lord of the Rings vibes, don't read this. But it's just, like, Lord of the Rings is my template for high fantasy, so it's what I compare every other fantasy to, which may not be fair, but Lord of the Rings, every book in the trilogy had a clear ending. It had resolution. Like, yes, there was more plot, there was more to the story that you would pick up in the next books, but in the Mere Empire, it felt like the ending just felt like another chapter ending. And I don't mean, like, in a poignant way. I mean, like, literally compared to the rest of the book and how the previous chapters had ended, it felt like it was just another chapter ending. It didn't feel like there was any resolution. It felt like in order to get more resolution, I would need to read the second and then third books. And as I mentioned last week, that makes me want to rebel a little bit. I don't like being manipulated into having to read a book as soon as possible. I want to read the book. I don't want to do it because I'm like, ooh, I need to know how it ends. Like, I know how it ends, or at least I know how it should end. And if it doesn't end in, like, a resolution and the good guys winning, I don't necessarily want to read that. Like, yes, there can be pain and heartache and all that sort of stuff leading up to it, but, like, at the end of the series, the good guys need to have won. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I'm only on the first book, but also the epilogue ended with a surprise. Which I guess I could have seen coming. I didn't think about it that much. And quite honestly, like, that's why I'm like, not only do I feel manipulated into having to continue the series, but I also, like, I didn't think about the book that much when I wasn't reading it. Like, so I use Cawpile to figure out my ratings. And one of the sections of Cawpile, if you don't use it, Cawpile was created by Book Roast, and I will link her channel in the description box, as a way to rate books. And so it is character, atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment. And so you put a ranking in each of those, and it spits out a total. And I find it really helpful so that I'm being as objective as possible, because there are some books where I'm like, yeah, I didn't like the plot, or I thought that the writing had like weird choices, but did I still enjoy it? Yeah, great. Like I feel like I'm by using Compile, I'm attending to every part of the book, and so I'm not just being like, oh, this book killed my favorite character, so 0. Like that, I feel like that's not fair. And so I forgot why I brought up Compile. Oh, when I was filling out the Compile yesterday after I finished the book, the intrigue section was actually like fairly low. I didn't look at my previous year's Compile, but I think this was the lowest intrigue that I had scored that I had given, because I think I gave it like a 5. And so, and normally I would, in any other book that would have had a lower intrigue, I just DNF'd. So it's that, it's that combination of, oh, it's snowing, I am wearing the wrong clothes. I have personal training in like half hour. I am wearing biker shorts and a tank top. I'm probably wearing the wrong thing considering it's snowing. I should probably put pants on. I'll do that before I leave. So with that, with feeling like there was no resolution at the end of the first book, a low intrigue, and then I feel like there was another reason that I gave. So yeah, so I put the second book on my Amazon wish list, so if I get it in the future, then I will probably continue it, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't need to pick it up immediately, like some of the other series that I've started, and I'm like, I need to know. So that's that. That was also my first book read for the year, which is pretty cool. I'm on track for my goal, which is officially 75 books. I also, since I finished it in the afternoon yesterday while I was on break at work, I went ahead and started Crime and Punishment last night on my drive home. I got the audiobook on Audible, narrated by Will Poulter, which I think is going to be really cool. And I only listened to one chapter, so so I can't really tell you a ton. The main character seems interesting. I am not going to even try to pronounce his name because I've not seen it written yet. I feel like I'll do better once I see it written and I can try to mangle my way through it. But having just heard it, I'm not even going to try. So I will give more information about Crime and Punishment as I get further. But it does seem really interesting that, like, I saw something online how it's called like the first psychological thriller, and I could, just from the first chapter, I could definitely see that going there, and the writing is not as intimidating as I thought it was going to be, so that's really nice. So I'm gonna go to personal training. I'm gonna clean a little bit today, so I'll probably listen to more of Crime and Punishment, and then I will probably, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna finish a book because I've wrong so many times. I will continue reading Self-Made Boys, and I will let you know how far I get, because I think I have like 100 pages left. And what was it, Tuesday night I read 130 pages about an hour, because the font and the spacing on the page is just like, you can fly through the pages really quickly. So other than that, I have, what else am I doing today? I have a writing date at 5 with my friend Ellis tonight. And then I have to cook. So I should get a decent chunk of reading done if I just listen to Crime and Punishment while I go about doing stuff. So we'll see. So I just finished reading Self-Made Boys. I was going to read for like 30 minutes, and then I'm like, well, I only have like 50 pages left, so I just kept going. It ended up being better than I was expecting. I think the weird Amblin comment at the beginning, and then the dialogue attribution on the audiobook, like, really put me off, really made me hesitant, but it got better. I still found myself really focusing on, like, which parts were from The Great Gatsby and which parts, besides the obvious, had been changed. So I found that a little distracting. I did give it 4 stars after going through Compile because it isn't bad. I will not say that. It's not a bad book. It's just one that I don't think it's for me. You know, I put my enjoyment as like a 7, which, again, not bad, but I don't think I'll reread it. So I'm probably going to put it on my Pango books later. But I just wanted to pop in and say that I spent about an hour and a half cleaning our sunroom, and no, I did not listen to Crime and Punishment just because I wasn't feeling it. And yeah, so I'm about to start, writing with one of my friends, and then maybe later I'll pick up another book, or maybe I'll just do like chores and stuff. I don't know, we'll see. But I just wanted to pop in and say that, like, Self-Made Boys was good. Probably not for me, but was good. And yeah, I will check back in later. So I'm at work, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Crime and Punishment. I listened to another chapter on my way to work, and I think it's more because it was super early in the morning. I was sort of nodding off, which is not good because I was driving. So as soon as I finished the chapter, I turned it off and turned on some like loud music to wake myself up. But it was really interesting. I'm trying to, pretty much, like, the main character went to this pub because he pretty much hadn't talked to anyone in like a month because he's been planning these murders. But they haven't said that in the book yet, so you're not supposed to know, but that's what's happening. And he starts getting like talked at by this like alcoholic guy, and all the, difficulty that has been in his life because of his drinking and all this sort of stuff. So it was interesting. It was just like, I think it was just too early in the morning for me to be listening to Dostoevsky. So I'm hoping that now that I'm a little bit more awake, when I listen to it after work, it'll be better. But we'll see. Last night I also started Carnal Knowledge since I finished Self-Made Boys yesterday. I got through the A's. It's literally written like an encyclopedia, so it's just a lot of information. Although it's a lot of information I didn't know, so that's really cool. Okay, this is darker than I thought it would be, but I wanted to check in. I realized that I didn't film anything yesterday about me and my reading. So I didn't finish anything yesterday, but I listened to another about 10% of Crime and Punishment yesterday, just going to work and then going to temple and then coming home. So got a lot of reading done then. So I'm almost done with part 1, and it's still, and I think it's not as dry as I was expecting it to be, which is good. And I don't know if that's just because I'm listening to an audiobook and that it's narrated by Will Poulter, who does a great job narrating, by the way. So I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it would be different if I was just straight up reading it, which I don't think I will have to, because right now, according to the buddy read schedule, like, I'll be a day behind, but I should catch up really quickly this week. So I will say, though, because I was not aware of this before I started reading it, while the plot deals with murder, you can see my cat's tail right there, while the plot deals with murder, which we have not gotten to yet, there is a scene of a violent animal death that technically takes place in a dream, but is still pretty graphic, and it was really hard to listen to. So I want people to be aware of that, because I was not expecting it. I'm sure if I looked at the story graph content warnings, it would be there, which I should really remember to do. But I'm just not the best at doing that. There's my cat. Hi, Reese. Hi, buddy. He's so confused why I'm sitting on the floor. So I'll listen to more of Crime and Punishment tomorrow. I only read a little bit today. I felt like I was running around doing like a lot of stuff. I was editing the podcast. I got about halfway through, which is good. So I'll be able to finish that in a couple days. I need to edit this vlog, so I'll probably do that tomorrow. So I read another, I guess, chapter or another section of Carnal Knowledge. I read the bees. I really appreciate that it gives some history and a lot of background information, because while I know a lot about sex and everything just through my various like studies, like I'm not gonna say I know everything, and so it's just nice, especially knowing things that like were in, like, especially the early 1900s. The early 1900s were very sexual, in case people haven't realized, and I don't think it's talked about a lot, and I don't think it's talked about how different things are now, and so it's just really interesting to read. And I say interesting a lot when I'm referring to nonfiction, but I don't know what other word to use. Like, it's good, I'll say that, but it's also, it's nonfiction. I need to pick up my reading pace on it, though, because I don't want to, right now I'm reading like a letter a day, and at that pace it'll take me 26 days to finish this book, and that's too long. So I need to pick up my pace a little bit. But I was also a little distracted, just because, like I said, I was doing a lot today, and then tonight was the like official season opener of NCAA gymnastics, so I was watching that. My team won. And yeah, so that's my little check-in. I'll read a little bit more Crime and Punishment tomorrow and wrap up this vlog after my sushi date with my friend. But yeah, that's all the information I have right now. Sorry my lighting sucks. Hey everyone, I am gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I listened to like 5% more of Crime and Punishment. The last 2 chapters I listened to were fairly long, and I don't like to start chapters and then stop them halfway through when I'm driving, so I usually, like, if I don't have enough time to listen to another chapter, I will just stop. Hi Nala. Hi, sweetie. Sitting, no matter where I sit, a cat will always be near me. So this is my third cat, if you haven't seen her already. Her name is Nala. Oh, okay, sweetie, I'm filming. Thank you. So like I said, I listened to 2 more chapters of Crime and Punishment. He did the thing. He killed some folks. And the last chapter I was listening to, he is starting to have like bouts of feeling guilty. It's interesting because like it comes and goes, and there's a lot of internal monologue, and sometimes that internal monologue is said aloud. And so I can only imagine like when he's on the street sort of like muttering to himself like how he looks. But it's, you know, it's just really interesting how quickly his mood changes. Like there was a section where he was like feeling really guilty. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna confess. And then he gets up to do it, and he's like, no, wait, what am I doing? So it's just really interesting. I'm excited to continue listening to more tomorrow when I go back to work. But otherwise, I went to dinner with my friend Amy, and we passed by an independent bookstore called Anderson's Books. And of course, I had to stop in and both Amy and I ended up buying something, which is not surprising. So I figured I'd do a little like mini book haul. So first things first, I went ahead and got Babel by RF Kuang. I wasn't going to, because dark academia is not typically my genre, and I do like it when I read it, but like it's just not usually what I gravitate towards. But so many of my favorite booktubers have read this and loved it, and just how much they were talking about it was just so fascinating. And so I knew that I needed to get it when I saw it at Anderson's. For those who don't know, it is about Oxford and the translation program there. And I believe that there's a lot about sort of like colonialism and what it means to live somewhere that has colonized your homeland. I don't know more about the book than that. Like, what I know about it is from other booktubers, and so I'm really interested. I think it'll be fascinating. So hopefully I will get to it soon. Next, I got Rebels at Sea by Eric Dolin. And this is about the privateers during the American Revolution, and about how they sort of like, well, I wouldn't say they bolstered the Navy, because the Navy was like fairly new and only had like 60 ships. So privateers, you know, took it upon themselves as part of the war effort, and I think like from the blurb it went up to like their naval force pretty much went up to like 2,000 because of the privateers. But it also goes into how they were still treated like pirates, but how they also, you know, really contributed to winning the American Revolution. So I really like reading about pirates. I really like reading about ships. So I figured this would be a really good read. And it was written by someone who lives in Massachusetts, and I have a fondness for Massachusetts. It's where my family is originally from. And like, when I say originally, I mean originally, like they lived in Massachusetts as far back as like the 1650s. Because yes, I have traced it. So the other 2 books I got were also sort of recommended by other booktubers. And this one was a Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. And Allison Paiges read this book and its sequel, loves it. And the way she talks about it, I couldn't not buy it when I saw it in the store. So it's about this monk who meets a robot, or vice versa. And they pretty much travel together trying to figure out, what do humans need? And that's sort of the synopsis. But according to Allison Paiges, like, it's pretty cozy, it's can be pretty philosophical, and it's pretty short too. So the way she just goes on about it really got me interested, so I figured I would go ahead and check this one out too. And then my last one was recommended by Allison Paiges and Jack Edwards. Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And I'm nervous about this one because pretty much the premise is that at this coffee shop, you can have a conversation with someone that you have previously visited the coffee shop with by sitting at this one table. And it's sort of like you can go back in time to talk with this person. And so I'm expecting that it deals a lot with grief, whether it's by death or just by a relationship ending or something like that. I'm assuming it's going to deal a lot with grief. So it makes me nervous because books that deal with grief still hit a little too close. My best friend's anniversary of her death was Friday. That's part of the reason I went to temple, was because they read her name out during service. And so books about grief just like sort of trigger it a little bit, but I couldn't not get it. You know, two booktubers that I really admire and respect recommended it and said it was amazing. And I'm just really susceptible to other people's suggestions. So if it's too much, I'll put it on pause and I'll try to pick it up like later. But we'll see when I even read it. You know, Siri chooses my TBR every month, so we don't even know if she'll even give it to me anytime soon. I have added all these books to my Storygraph already, and if you think I should just go ahead and just read one, like, leave me a comment, because I will go ahead and just put it on my next TBR, to be honest. Like I said, highly susceptible to other people's suggestions. It's probably the reason I rely on Siri so much to dictate my life. But anyway, so that's my vlog for this week. I might read a little more tonight of Carnal Knowledge. If so, it'll be next week's vlog. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here so I can go work out. And I hope that you all had a wonderful week. Thank you for watching and listening to me babble about books. Babble. RF Kuang. Sorry. I've made a lot of dad jokes today, and I can't break that habit. Anyway, comment, talk to me about any of the books that I mentioned. Love talking about books. I need more people to talk about books with. Like the video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I will be putting out another video sometime this week about my 5-star reads from 2022. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!